Welcome to episode 1 of the Strangely Dead podcast Disappearing Hikers Part 1. People go missing every day, in every country. It's nothing new, it's a sad reality of the world we live in. However, some disappearances defy explanation. The person just vanishes into thin air, and no matter how many other people are around, they simply cease to exist. Some literally as soon as you turn around and back again. I'm a true crime fan and have heard and watched countless documentaries on the missing. The ones that truly scared me were these. The ones who are there 1 second and gone the next. The ones, despite extensive searches, over years, even decades, come up with no clues. Not so much as a piece of clothing. The ones where foul play can be ruled out. In other words, that person shouldn't be missing in the first place. Here are 2 cases of such phenomenon. I was first introduced to the Carl Landers case from a documentary called Vanished, which followed retired police officer David Paulides as he investigates this and the disappearance of Dale Stehling. Stay tuned to the end for a quick summary of Dale's case. In May of 1999, Carl Landers, Milton Gaines and Barry Gilmore set out to hike to the top of Mount Shasta. A long-time goal of Landers. The trio met after becoming part of a group called the Roadrunners. The group was composed of people from all walks of life that enjoyed running, hiking and going on adventures. Once parked at the base of the mountain, the 3 unloaded their belongings and headed up Bunny Flat Trail. They would be using this trail to get to the 50-50 spot to camp, then head to the next location, Lake Helen, only 900 feet away. During their hike they took a few photos along the way, including some of Landers. The 3 men looked happy as they went along, smiling big in the photos. Nothing seemed wrong. The 2 other men never recounted feeling uneasy, anyone following them, nothing. It was a pleasant trip along the snow-covered mountainside. They stopped at the 50-50 spot to camp for the night. The following morning Landers felt ill. Telling his 2 companions he thought it was from taking too much Diamox, a medicine to combat high-altitude sickness. They were approximately 9,000 to 10,000 feet up at this point. Gaines told Landers to go on ahead and hike up to Lake Helen. The 2 others would pack up camp and follow soon behind him. Landers agreed and started the hike up. Now, to put this in perspective, he was only going 900 feet away. There are no trees, holes, caves, crevices to fall into and/or hide. Gaines and Gilmore had at least 1 to 2 miles of unobstructed visibility, if not more. In an interview for Vanished, David Paulides and a tracker hike up to where Landers went missing. Paulides says to his friend, "You could run 40 minutes in any direction and I'd never lose sight of you," which is one of many reasons Landers' disappearance is so baffling. Once Gaines and Gilmore pack up camp, they start the hike themselves. Logically, they should have been able to see Landers, even from a distance. Not panicking right away, the 2 thought maybe Landers had sat or lied down due to being ill. However, to their shock, Carl's footprints abruptly stopped in the fresh snow. The 2 men looked around and couldn't see Carl anywhere, nor was there any disturbed snow. It's as if Landers took his final step and was yanked up and off the mountain. At first, Gaines and Gilmore couldn't believe what they were seeing, or rather what they weren't seeing. Trying to grasp the situation, they assumed their friend either went back down the mountain without being seen or he was hurt. The 2 separate and begin looking for Carl. 1 going up and 1 going down. They came across 2 park rangers during their search, but neither had seen Carl. Gilmore, who had went down the mountain, was on his way back up to meet with Gaines. He had spotted another hiker and tried to catch up, thinking it was Carl. But soon realized even if Carl was 100%, he couldn't hike that quickly. After neither man found Carl or any trace of him, they went back down the mountain and filed a missing persons report. This activated the search for Carl Landers. Grizz Adams, the incident director for the search, had experienced searchers dropped at the top of Mount Shasta to work their way down, as well as on the bottom working their way up. The Roadrunners group came in droves upon hearing Carl had gone missing. This also doesn't count volunteers, National Guard, police, family that also aided in the search. Sadly, nothing was found. Even in the 2 decades that has passed, no one, searching for Carl or just hiking, have found any trace of him. It seems as if he simply stopped existing. Curiously, in September of 1999, just a few short months after Carl disappeared, a 32-year-old male hiker, Rene Arnold, fell accidentally and died from his injuries. What makes it odd is as soon as he was reported missing, he was found almost immediately. From what I found, while people knew where he was going, they couldn't possibly know where he was when he went missing. Remember, Carl was with two friends. The three were experienced hikers. They had done this for years. Carl was only going 900 feet away, and his friends should have been able to see him, even if he walked back down or had fallen. There is no reason they should have lost sight of him. But yet they did. Within a few moments they lost him. Only finding his footprints stopped. He should have been standing there, but he wasn't. Looking into and researching this case gave me chills. A man named Dustin Neef has authored 2 books on the history and folklore of Mount Shasta. Carl wasn't the first or last person to vanish from the area, seemingly out of thin air. One missing persons case dates back to the 1950s. Foul play was ruled out. 1. Gaines and Gilmore didn't have any animosity towards Landers nor vice versa. The photos taken right before Carl vanished showed 3 friends. Hiking, camping, enjoying each other's company. The other 2 men didn't see anyone that was following them or animals that could attack them. Fresh snow had fallen, so if an attack occurred there would be blood and signs of a struggle, to which there were none. If a stranger had killed Carl, he would not only have to do it silently but also out of the view of Gaines and Gilmore. Then what about the body? The stranger would have to either carry it back down undetected or bury it on the mountain. Doing so undetected would be nearly impossible. The same for burying him mountainside. Someone during the search would have noticed a freshly dug grave, even if it had been a deep one. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Carl Landers. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. If it had been me there that day, upon seeing his footprints just stop, with no sign of him, I wouldn't know what to do or how to proceed. What are your thoughts? Do you have a theory on what happened to Carl? Do you think there's a simple explanation, or is something beyond our understanding happening here? Please tell me in the comments. Now, as promised, a quick summary of the Dale Stehling case. This was also featured in Vanished. You can stream Vanished for free on Pluto TV for more on both these cases. Dale Stehling went with his family to Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado in June of 2013. While his family was resting at the visitor center, Dale wanted to go see the Spruce Tree House, approximately 2.5 miles away, but in full view of the visitor center. His wife told him to take water with him due to the hot sunny weather. He said no, he wouldn't be gone long or going far. She got one last picture before he left. After an hour or so went by, his family reported him missing to park rangers. Not alarmed, the rangers said wait a couple of hours, people get turned around on the marked trails all the time. But by the time the park was closing for the day, Dale still hadn't returned and a missing persons report was filed. The following day, a retired judge who was at the park with his daughter saw Dale's poster and called authorities. They had seen Dale twice the day before. Once on a trail that was completely in the opposite direction from where he should have been going. He didn't look distressed. They exchanged pleasantries and Dale went further up the trail. Later they saw Dale again, sitting down to rest, not looking like he was in trouble, nor did he ask for any assistance. Just resting after a long hike. He chatted for a few moments with the judge before the man and his daughter hiked on. When they left, Dale was still sitting and resting. He thought he would come across Dale again but never did. By sheer coincidence and luck, the daughter took a picture of her dad where Dale can be seen standing in the background. But he didn't look like anything was wrong. From all accounts, these were the last people to see Dale alive. For 2 weeks the park was searched along with the use of canines. Nothing was found, and at the end of the 2 weeks he was presumed dead. Sadly, that changed in September of 2020 when an anonymous tip led to the remains of Dale Stehling. What makes this a strange case is 1. During the 2 weeks the canines used never picked up on his scent, alive or dead. Especially in the heat of summer, a body decomposing would definitely have an odor that even humans could smell. 2. Dale was found in an off-limits part of the park. They wouldn't say exactly where Dale was found, but it was about 4.5 miles from where the judge and his daughter had last seen him. He wasn't at the bottom of a cliff, he was in a ravine. And was said to have died of natural causes. Not injuries or foul play. Being so close to where he was last seen, how did no one smell his body? While Dale was described as one who wasn't good with directions, he was an experienced hiker and camper. So not only would it have been out of character for him to go off trail, he would know it would have been almost certain death without food or water. So it's doubtful he would have went on his own. From what I can find, many people do hike in the off-limits part of the park, but in the 7 years he was missing no one found him. Many people who have been to the park say it's very well mapped out. Even if someone were to go down the wrong path, eventually end up at the top or bottom, depending on which direction they were going. In other words, they would almost certainly run into someone that could help. Also, Dale didn't just accidentally fall off a cliff, nor could he have been intentionally pushed off. He would have been found almost directly below the fall. But he was found around 4.5 miles away, maybe even more. We don't know exactly because strangely park rangers won't say exactly where his remains were found. So what are your thoughts on the Dale Stehling case? Did he become lost? Is it as simple as he got dehydrated then fell to his death? Is it even possible that he actually met with foul play, gotten on the wrong side of a stranger who pushed him off a cliff, without any of the many visitors of the park seeing? Or did something entirely unexplained happen? Thank you for listening to the Strangely Dead podcast, episode 1, Disappearing Hikers Part 1. More episodes are on the way. If there is a case you'd like me to discuss next, please leave in the comments or email strangelydead62@gmail.com with subject line case research. Have a strange day.